Concentrate, I feel a sugar rush in my vein. One cup it does.
Everybody now, let's go. Come on, come on. Hey. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah, yeah.
It's time to make a difference. It's time to turn that page. We got to do the right things if we want brighter days. Cause things ain't getting easy and the road ahead is tough. It's up to you and I to make the madness stop.
Every day the things getting harder, and every day the things getting rough, and every day they hike the food prices and they implementing more tax for the sake of our twin nation and the youth of the next generation. Let's stand united, show we're not divided. Let's show them now and send them a message now.
Show them that we're the voice of hope.
Send them a message now.
Show them that our country ain't no joke.
Send them a message now.
Show them that we're the ones who care.
Send them a message now.
Oh, 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 yeah, yeah.
Everybody now. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, oh, whoa, yeah, yeah.
From a distance, look at the picture. Tell me what you see.
What you see?
An abstract of destruction to destroy you and me. We got to do the right thing. We got to make that move. Cause if we don't act fast on this, we're the ones who lose.
Every day the things getting harder, and every day the things getting rough, and every day they hike the food prices and they implementing more tax for the sake of our twin nation and the youth of the next generation. Let's stand united, show we're not divided. Let's show them now and send them a message now.
Show them that we are the voice of hope.
Send them a message now.
Show them that our country ain't no joke.
Send them a message now.
Show them that we are the ones who care.
Send them a message now.
Oh, 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 yeah, yeah.
No more rain, no more rain, no more rain, no more rain. No left foot, right foot again. No more struggle, no more strain, no more pain. We want to see we way, we want a brighter day. No more Rowley again. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye, bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We not voting for you. We tired of the bloodshed, tired of the taxes, tired of the potholes and all the excuses. Tired of no water, tired of stretching at the law, tired of the high grocery bills. No left foot, right foot again. No more struggle, no more strain, no more pain. We want to see we way, we want a brighter day. No more Rowley again. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye, bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We not voting for you. We tired of the bloodshed, tired of the taxes, tired of the potholes and all the excuses. Tired of no water, tired of stretching a dollar, tired of the high grocery bills. No left foot, right foot, again. No more struggle, no more strain, no more pain. We want to see we way, we want a brighter day. No more Rowley again. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We're not voting for you. No more red, 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 no more red. No left foot, right foot, again. No more struggle, no more strain, no more pain. We want to see we way, we want a brighter day. No more Rowley again. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We're not voting for you. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We're not voting for you.
More should be done by the state to help the less fortunate in society. This from the local government representative for Canupia,
Vandana, Mohit. The borough of Chaguanas has a new mayor. The UNC councillor for Canupia, Vandana Mohit.
While an office is necessary for the mayor, I will be bringing my office onto your streets since your needs are our greatest concern.
Needy families received assistance just in time for Christmas Day. The initiative to give back to members of the Chaguanas community was led by newly elected Chaguanas Mayor Vandana Mohit.
Joining us is the UNC's pick incumbent Mayor of Chaguanas, Vandana Mohit.
I, Vandana Mohit, having been elected a Member of Parliament, do swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Trinidad and Tobago. I would like to thank God for His continuous blessings upon me, one of which I am experiencing at this very moment.
From the vibrant streets of Chaguanas East to the serene corners of Lendor Village, one truth remains constant. Our strength lies in our people. Together, we've built a community of resilience, innovation, and hope with our Member of Parliament for Chaguanas East, Ms. Vandana Mohit.
Chaguanas East, this journey has always been about you. For the past 5 years, we have worked hand in hand to empower lives and strengthen the foundation of our beloved communities. But there's so much more we can do together.
Dedicating her entire life to the service of her country and her constituency, Vandana Mohit continues to empower lives and strengthen communities.
Madam Speaker, I just want to review recent fire victims in my very own constituency of Chaguanas East.
My house was burnt on the 15th of the 8th. I lost everything in the fire, and I want to thank Ms. Vandana Mohit. I'm so happy that she fulfilled her promise.
Imagine a constituency that becomes a blueprint for national success.
This is MC Vandana Mohit. We are here in your community this morning, distributing some fish.
Cleaning has started along the Marching River.
This evening we are here because we are heartbroken.
Minister, I'm sure you're aware of the Bridle Road to Bridge.
By giving back and paying it forward, Vandana Mohit has managed to change the lives of many, consistently and selflessly dedicating her time and effort to everyone in the community.
Vandana Mohit has always been supportive to us, our organization and our community. We use sports as a vehicle to change lives. Most definitely, Chaguanas East is safe with Vandana Mohit.
Club Enterprise has been greatly donated with items from her, from equipment, balls, chairs and tables when we have events, and even went as far as with helping with the purchase of tickets for the girls team to go Atlanta, US.
Hi, my name is Randy Harris. I go to Wilmington College. I am a biology major, and I played football here at Wilmington College. I would just like to express my heartfelt gratitude towards Vandana Mohit because her support was very instrumental in me getting the funding that I needed to pursue my dreams of playing college football. And it's just safe to say that my future is safe with Auntie Vandana.
I would like to publicly endorse Vandana Mohit as my MP for Chaguanas East. Whenever we call for any assistance, she always assists us. But she's a nice girl, because anything you ask her to do, she does.
She served with pride for 5 years, touching the hearts of many. She's everybody's favorite MP. It's that time again to return to the polls. Put your X by the symbol of the rising sun. Vote for the UNC. Vote for your home girl. Vote Vandana Mohit.
Chaguanas East, this is our moment. Let us continue to build a future where every voice is heard, where every dream is nurtured, and where every community is strong. Join me in this journey. Together, let's keep empowering lives and strengthening communities.
Guess who I'm voting for next time?
Welcome to the United National Congress, Secure Cottage meeting. We take this opportunity to thank you for your support. Now please stand for the national anthem and then remain standing for the prayer. Thank you.
Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea. This our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Almighty God, most beneficial and merciful, Creator of the universe and embodiment of divine wisdom and light, we come before you with thanksgiving and praise. May your will be done in our nation as it is in the heavens. Please bless our political leader, party officials, activists, and all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Give us the grace to always see good, be good, and do good, and the courage to serve the people. Protect us as we stand against injustice and iniquity, and inspire our endeavors to find the right solutions to the problems that are affecting our fellow citizens. Grant that we may always work together with humility and respect for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of our country.
The PNM is feeling it in their veins. Faris knows it. Stewart knows it. All the others, they all know what is coming down in 2025.
Our democracy is on the edge because of interference by the government and government officials.
From From Chaguanas South Secondary, this is the Monday Night Report with the Honorable KPB Plus.
Good night, everyone. Before we get started, I just wanted to go through some safety briefings and house announcements. To the right, that's where the washroom facilities are in case of emergencies. To your left and to the back of the hall, that's where you exit and you muster at the playfield on Helen Street. As I have your attention as well, it's sad to announce the passing of a stalwart of the United National Congress, Mr. Reggie Siraj, and I would like to have a moment of silence before we continue. Please stand. Thank you.
Good evening, each and everyone. Welcome to the UNC Monday Night Report. This evening, we are in unique and talented constituency of Chaguanas East. Honorable political leader, members of parliament, senators, members of the National Executive, mayors, chairmen, councillors, aldermen, online viewers, local and foreign, members of the media, and our loyal foot soldiers of this great party. Thank you for joining us. I am Councillor Brenda John, and this is my colleague, His Worship Faiq Mohammed. We will be chairing tonight's proceedings, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. We have a powerful battery of speakers and first stay in store for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to ask a simple but pertinent question. Where is the $91 million in property tax that this government claimed to have in their hands? They did it when they presented the 2024-2025 budget. They proudly boasted about collecting this money. And yet, to this day, no local government municipality have received a single cent. Before I continue, however, I must make this absolutely clear. I, my political leader, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and all representatives of the United National Congress, we do not support this oppressive property tax. From day one, we warned that it would be nothing more than a government cash grab, squeezing struggling citizens dry while delivering little to nothing. The Chaguanas Borough Corporation was promised $11.5 million for essential services such as road repairs, drainage, cleaning, scavenging services, and community projects that will directly affect the lives of each and every one of you here tonight. But guess what? Not a single cent has arrived in the Chaguanas Borough Corporation when it comes to property tax. So to the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, or any one of the cabinet ministers who care to answer this question, where is the $91 million? Ladies and gentlemen, let me assure you, the UNC will not stop asking. We will not stop demanding accountability. So our next speaker is a man who constantly demands accountability from this government and pressure them into action. Please welcome MP for Oropouche West, Mr. Dave Tancoo.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen, UNC family, how you feeling? You ready for election?
Send a signal to Rowley, call it now! Political leader of United National Congress, my brothers and sisters all, I wish you in these difficult times and circumstances a good night. Now I know that economics is not a sexy thing, and that many of you, when you start hearing about the state of the economy, when you start hearing about inflation, when you start hearing about interest rates, foreign debt, etc., you turn up your nose and you turn away. But you need to pay attention tonight, because the economy impacts the lives of every single citizen of this country. Every single aspect of your life is impacted by the state of the economy, ladies and gentlemen. From food prices, to crime, to drainage, to employment, to infrastructure like roads and bridges, your quality and standard of life is impacted by the economy, and you need to pay attention to that. I don't have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that our country is facing multiple crises, including a severe crime wave, drug shortages, equipment and staff shortages in the healthcare system, school violence, and increasing poverty. You know that. And it seems that the only people who don't know that is Stuart Young, Keith Rowley, Imbert, and their band of privileged, incompetent fools. And this is all directly related, ladies and gentlemen, to the collapse of the economy at the hands of Rowley, Stuart Young, Imbert, and their gang. You see, when our economy grows, sustainable jobs are created, ladies and gentlemen. People are able to generate an income to feed their families, to send their children to school. Businesses are created. Persons are encouraged to invest their incomes and further grow the economy. There's a sense of confidence and hope that feeds on itself and propels the economy forward, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly what we had in 2010 to 2015, when the economy of Trinidad and Tobago grew by upwards of 7%. And this country saw development across the board, from every single sector, every single corner of this country, from Icacos to Tancoo, from Guayari to Chaguanas, from Crown Point to Charlottesville. Even Keith Christopher Rowley admitted that the period 2010 to 2015 were the good years. And we were able to do that, ladies and gentlemen, because we had a leader and a team with a vision for this country, to rescue this country. And today we have the very same leader with an even better team, waiting now for Rowley to ring the bell. You see, a strong economy, ladies and gentlemen, is the backbone of a nation, supporting healthcare, education, infrastructure, and so much more. When a country's economy is robust, it enables the government to allocate resources efficiently, ensuring that social sector spending is facilitated, it's well-funded and easily accessible. A flourishing economy attracts investment so that we can grow and grow and grow. It creates jobs, ladies and gentlemen. Maintaining economic stability, therefore, is very critical for the overall development of any country. And that's why I'm asking you all to pay attention. Because in the last 9.5, going into 10 years, that is not what we got. We got crisis after crisis with the economy shrinking. Between 2015 and today, the economy has shrunk by 20%. You know what that means? That means that the output of the country, what we produce as a nation, has grown smaller by 20%. Only the PNM could have spent over $570 billion and try to fool you into thinking that your lives get better. But I know and you know the truth, because we live in this country. We know what the reality is. Every man jack, except the PNM, catching the nenen. Alright? Not at all, ladies and gentlemen. Ask yourself, though, why that happened. Because it was not because they didn't have the money. It was not because they didn't have the people. It was not because they didn't have the hope of the country. They had all of that. They just refused to do the right thing because they don't care about you. And I want you all to remember that this PNM government does not care about the citizens of this country. You know, we have a popular saying in this country, made popular: a government must be for the people, of the people, and by the people. You know that saying? For the people, of the people, and by the people. In Trinidad and Tobago, what we have is a government of the 1%, for the 1% and by the 1%. That good? Let me make it clear, ladies and gentlemen, because there are mischief makers outside here. Let me make it clear. The 1% is not a race. It is a group of persons who are bleeding this country dry for their own benefit. They don't care about the citizens. They don't care about our children. They don't care about the future of the country. All they care about is their pocket. That is the 1%. And yes, Keith Christopher Rowley, Stuart Young, Faris Alwawi, Colm Imbert, A.G. Reginald Amor, 1%, 1%, 1%, all of them are 1%. And they run this country, ladies and gentlemen, for the benefit of their friends, their family, and the financiers. Not you. They tell you, tighten your belt, wean yourself off the government, ban your belly. They tell poor people lining up for hampers, for food to feed their children, that they're greedy, not needy. While they, the PNM, manipulate the resources of this country for their own personal benefit. They insist that you don't need a proper wage, take 4% on nothing, but giving themselves a salary increase of 47%. That is the PNM. They refuse to increase old age pension for normal citizens, but they bring legislation to the parliament to block you from getting a pension if you manage to sacrifice and save over 65 years at $25,000 in your bank account. That is the PNM. But Rowley making sure that while you can't get your pension because you have $25,000 in the bank, while you can't get it, he carrying home $87,000. That is for him, for his pension, but is that good enough for you, ladies and gentlemen? Ask yourself why. They threaten you with court. My brother just raised it. They threaten you with court to seize your property if you don't pay their vicious property tax. But given their big business friends, tax amnesty after tax amnesty after tax amnesty. Pressure for you, jail for you, but for them, nothing. That is PNM legacy. Nothing for you but Faris and Young walking in and out of cabinet because they have conflicts of interest. They have friends and family who get in millions of dollars in contracts from the government. Under the PNM, ladies and gentlemen, Trinidad and Tobago has become like George Orwell's Animal Farm. You know what Animal Farm is about? Like George Orwell's Animal Farm. One law for them and another law for the rest of us. With the pigs led by their own Napoleon, feeding at the trough while the middle class are driven into poverty and the poor starve and suffer. There's a statement that we must never forget, ladies and gentlemen. It has been used before in these platforms. You must never forget it. And it was said by the Prime Minister. You know what he said? We have to allow the rich to get richer for the poor to get a job. You see, they're not concerned about the poor lifting themselves, you know. They're concerned about feeding you the crumbs, and you're supposed to be happy with that. Are you happy with that? Think about the Kamla Persad-Bissessar administration in 2010 to 2015, where new companies were set up, young people were given opportunities, small and medium-sized businesses grew, ladies and gentlemen, but not under the PNM. Put that in context, ladies and gentlemen. Under the PNM, small and medium-sized businesses must suffer. That is why during COVID, over 6,000 small and medium-sized businesses closed down. Over 6,000 because the government did nothing to provide for them. But my people are resilient people, ladies and gentlemen. And during COVID, still, people were able to create new jobs, new industries, depending on foreign exchange and credit card. New services were created. Government said, no. Input come and say, no. Online tax for you. Online tax for you. Even if you are buying necessities online tax for you because they don't want you to use the foreign exchange. You think that's right? But when they realized even then, that they didn't mash up these small and medium-sized businesses, you know what they come and do? They and their friends come and raise the limit, they and their friends come and lower the limit that you could buy on your credit card. Because they're still trying to mash down this small and medium-sized business, ladies and gentlemen. People who started the businesses out of their pockets, out of their small savings. Ladies and gentlemen, instead of encouraging small business development, this government has been shooting it down. Instead of trying to assist small and medium-sized businesses, average regular citizens to grow themselves so that we don't have to depend on the state, this government has been finding every possible way of mashing them down. And the best example of that, ladies and gentlemen, is how they have treated with this foreign exchange issue. Do you know that Keith Rowley called members, well, the 1% in the 1% in the government knows that there are disparities in the allocation of foreign exchange. Do you think that they would not know that? They are very well aware of it. 1 year ago, in fact, more than a year ago, Kamla would say, yes, there's a problem, and we're going to meet with the business community, we're going to meet with the small and medium-sized enterprises, we're going to meet with all the interest groups, and we'll find a solution. A year and a half has passed, and nothing has been done. You know why? Guess where that money going? Guess where that money going? The same 1% being fed by this government, getting the foreign exchange. If you want to get transparency and allocation efficiency in foreign exchange in this country, there's only one way to do it. Get rid of this corrupt bunch of PNM sycophants. That's the only way. After 10 years, they have not done it. You think they're going to do it now? And let me caution you again. We are in a foreign exchange crisis. Today, we have, if you add the national foreign debt or foreign debt to our foreign reserves, we end up with a figure of about 38 million US dollars. That is the equivalent of 1 day's foreign exchange holdings. 1 day. 1 day. When Kamla Persad-Bissessar left government, there was 11 months of foreign exchange holdings in their hands. Today, it is 1 day. We are in a serious foreign exchange crisis. And you know, when we raised that with the government, you know what the government said? Keith Rowley said, well, we had to borrow. Imbert said, no, there's no foreign exchange crisis, but everybody here know that. And you know that there's a foreign exchange crisis? If you're trying to get $1 US, you're in crisis. You can't get a dollar. You have to line up in the bank and beg somebody and hope that somebody feels sorry for you to get a US dollar. And then the same central bank that have all the money, central bank come in and tell you, you know, if you get money foreign exchange from your friend and your family, you're committing a crime and you can get charged. Everything is wrong with how this government has treated with the citizens of this country and how they have allocated the resources of this country to the benefit of us, citizens of this country. All you feeling good? All you don't realize what this government doing yet? If they're not focused on feeding you, if they're not focused on improving the quality and standard of your living, who they catering for? 1%. Because they are part of the 1%. And if they are part of the problem, ladies and gentlemen, they will never fix it. So the only way to fix it, ladies and gentlemen, is to get rid of this government. That's the only way to fix it. And you know, as I'm on it, there's the next thing that they're doing. So they have a foreign exchange crisis. They're borrowing till they're dead. They're borrowing on top of your head. You have to pay that back. It's tax on you and tax on you and tax on you because they're creating no new revenue streams. But now they start to sell off state assets. They're rushing now on the eve of an election to sell off Petrotrin. That's not all. They're rushing now on the eve of an election to sell off substantial land holdings in Invaders Bay. Why do you think they're rushing now? They know they curtail book. So they're rushing now to cover up their tracks. I want to put people on notice today from this platform. I want to put you on notice from today on this platform. Public servants, pay attention and please. Our UNC government will investigate every single one of these transactions. And who guilty will spend time in jail, ladies and gentlemen. Stop thieving from now. Stop it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have developed a saying. When the UNC wins, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. We know it from experience because we did it before in 2010 to 2015. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, roads throughout the country get repaired. When the UNC wins, drainage infrastructure is built to deal with flooding. When the UNC wins, crime drops. When the UNC wins, schools are better maintained. There are more scholarships, technology, laptops in schools, and children have the opportunity to go to their fullest potential. When the UNC wins, businesses flourishes. New industries are created. Tens of thousands of real sustainable jobs are made, ladies and gentlemen. When the UNC wins, there's a fair and transparent, equitable distribution of the nation's foreign exchange. When the UNC wins, ladies and gentlemen, everybody wins. Say it with me. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. So ladies and gentlemen, let us do this now. Let us commit to work as hard as we can to make sure that the UNC wins, because as you know, it is the only way to save this country. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night. God bless you.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. It is my privilege to bring up the next speaker. Senator Wayne Mark is a leader of the opposition in Senate. Mr. Mark first entered Parliament during the Third Republic Parliament as one of the UNC first opposition senators in 1990 and is one of the longest serving senators in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. He served as the Speaker of the House from 2010 to 2015. Senator Mark was also the Education and Research Officer for the Bank and General Workers Union, a trustee of Trinidad and Tobago Labour Congress, Assistant Secretary of the National Trade Union Center. In 1979, Senator Mark obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics and Politics from the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, and an Executive Master's degree in Business Administration. Finally, he is a member of Economic Association of Trinidad and Tobago, Parliamentarian for Global Action and Global Organization. Mr. Mark has published in numerous of history and development of trade union movement in Trinidad and Tobago, 1838 to 1985. Let's welcome Senator Wayne Mark to the podium.
Never let your problems get you down. Stay focused and hold your ground.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The Honorable political leader of our great and glorious party, the United National Congress, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and this country incoming Prime Minister. My parliamentary colleagues, all councillors and mayors and all the men who are here, chairmen, members of our great party, welcome to this very important meeting this evening. Brothers and sisters, tonight I want to look at decision-making, governance, and what I call the saga of the PNM. After a decade of destruction, oppression, exploitation, and open banditry, thievery, and corruption, this outgoing PNM government, led by the leading gangster in Trinidad and Tobago, is now trying through what I call the 3 Ds: deception, defection, and destruction, in an effort to try to further oppress, further mislead, and further misdirect our economy, our society, and citizenry. How are they doing it? I have in my possession our Constitution. This is the supreme law of the land. Brothers and sisters, you do not monkey around with our Constitution. What is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago as we speak is a clear attempt
by the outgoing Prime Minister to manipulate the constitution of our nation. And how does he do it? Without falling sick, without getting COVID, without being mentally incapacitated. He has told Trinidad and Tobago that he is about to leave office. He's going to leave office. And you know what? He's going to find a replacement for himself. And who is the replacement? His patsy, his messenger, and his puppet. That is the person who he has organized to replace him. So what is going on here? He says he's going to stay on as political leader until September. Elections, the parliament that we serve, supposed to dissolve on the 28th of August this year. He tells the country that Stuart Young, his puppet, his messenger, the man who is fronting for him, that he will make him prime minister. When you will make him prime minister? He said you have to go to a CARICOM Heads of Government Conference in February. He's coming back, and then you have a few things to wrap up. What does this man have to wrap up? Well, brothers and sisters, what this man is doing, he is determining when he will leave the office of Prime Minister. But he's only leaving when he gets his $90,000 a month. He expects to get his $90,000 a month in salary and his back pay of over $1 million sometime by the end of March. So he will stay on until the end of March or maybe April. We don't know. But you know what is important here, brothers and sisters? His pension will be $90,000 tax-free. Whilst he brought a bill to the parliament to deny any citizen 65 years and over who has a saving of $25,000 in the bank, in the credit union. So he brought a bill that says anyone in Trinidad and Tobago reaching the age of 65 and they have $25,000 in the bank, no pension for you. But he is going home with $90,000 tax-free. And you know what is even more egregious, more dangerous, is that his puppet is going to come in here. Nobody elected him. Nobody voted for him. But he is going to become the next prime minister. That is Stuart Puppet Young. And you know what? He's going to be pocketing, because he's going to be, once you serve as prime minister for one day, Stuart Young, who is getting $45,000, will now be getting $90,000. And Stuart Young, when he gets his backside cut in the next general election, will go home with $90,000 as pension. So, brothers and sisters, this is robbery with V. This is violence against the people. And Dr. Rowley has not tell you or me, when you step down, where you're going. You're going back to Goodwood Park? You're going back to Tobago to mine goat? Or are you going to be in the office of the Prime Minister, carrying the title Minister of All, Minister Extraordinaire? What are you going to do? He doesn't tell you. He doesn't tell the people. So, brothers and sisters, we are in a situation today where this man is manipulating our constitution in order to get money for his partner. That is what he's doing. Why did Dr. Rowley step down? Anybody knows? He told nobody. Was he forced out of office by domestic financial forces? Was he forced out of office by external, international, global forces? We don't know. This man loved office and power so much he will not gradually and voluntarily give up office just so. And he has not told us why he stepped down. And then he have his partner, Stuart Young, gone to Venezuela 13 times in 2 years, spent $1.2 million of taxpayers' money. And he cannot tell the country who he spoke to. When he spoke to them, what did they discuss? Now, you know, brothers and sisters, that the United States of America has imposed sanctions on Venezuela. So we don't know if, and recently, when Donald Trump became the president of the United States, he has a Secretary of State called Marco Rubio. And these fellas are serious. They are saying that if you speak and hold any discussions with any sanctioned officials in Venezuela, then you are going to be in trouble, and your country could be in trouble. So we are saying to Stuart Young, before you take God out of your thought and come to become prime minister or decide to become the next prime minister, you have questions to answer. You must tell this country, who did you speak to in Venezuela on the 13th occasions that you visited them? Did you speak to them, to members of the cabinet who are sanctioned by the United States? And if you did, why you did not tell us the names of those people? So, brothers and sisters, we are in a situation today where they told us the economy is in crisis, as Dave told you. It will recover in 2027. How will it recover in 2027? They're going to bring gas from the Dragon Gas project in Venezuela. But brothers and sisters, the dragon can't dance. There's no gas to come in 2027. There's no gas to come from the Cocaina Mannequin field. And the Lauren Manatee field will not come until 2029, 2028. So in the meantime, Rowley tells us he and Stuart Young, two peas in the same pod, different sides of the same coin, they are joined at the hip. That is where they are. And you know what they tell us, brothers and sisters? They brought $17 billion through investment and through increased gas prices for Trinidad and Tobago over the last few years. When our sister, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, left office in 2015, we had a production of natural gas amounting to 3.9 billion standard cubic feet that used to be produced every day. You know, after 10 years, brothers and sisters, our natural gas production, as we speak, is down to 2.5 billion and falling. By the time we go to 2027, it will be 2.1. You know what will happen here, brothers and sisters? The revenues that come from gas and LNG will be fundamentally and drastically reduced. in Trinidad and Tobago. And who is responsible for that? Rowley and Stuart Young, brothers and sisters. And they are coming to you and telling you that you must vote for Stuart Young to be the next Prime Minister. Well, I tell you tonight in Chaguanas, you're the only person, the only thing that we are going to do. We are going to tell the people of this country, as George Chambers sought to tell the PNM when he was there in 1981 and he took over from Eric Williams. We will take his statement, we will take his phrase, and we will say tonight to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and the people here in this hall and the people outside of this hall, not a damn seat for the PNM in the next general elections in Trinidad and Tobago. They are national traitors. They have sold out our country. They have sold out our patrimony. They closed down Petrotrin. They put 10,000 people on the breadline. Brothers and sisters, they have created no jobs in the country. We have more than 100,000 people unemployed in this country. So what are they coming to tell you? What is Stuart Young coming to tell you? He better get a bank. Rowley and the PNM gave his brother Angus Young, who runs something called NCB Global Finance. It is now NCB Merchant Bank. So he gave a bank. How can Stuart Young represent us? How can Stuart Young represent you? How can Stuart Young represent the people of TNT? We have a sister, a leader, a visionary, a grassroots who understand you, who understand your cries, your pains, your sorrows, your dreams, your aspirations. I am talking about Sister Kamla Persad-Bissessar from humble beginnings. She understands poverty. She understands inequality. She understands victimization, discrimination. You need somebody who have been in the crucible of struggle and they understand your situation. Not a man who has been born with a golden spoon in his mouth. Stuart Young came into this world. He want to know. Everything was provided for him. Nice, we have no problem with that. But then, how come you come to tell we in Trinidad and Tobago, you just come? Would you put a child, would you put a little boy to do a big man's job? That is a little boy. That fella can't do nothing for we. Nothing. So I call on the people in this hall, I call on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Our only salvation for liberation, our only salvation for emancipation, our only salvation for freedom is for us to vote for the rising sun, the United National Congress. Vote for Kamla Persad-Bissessar as our next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And as the motto say, as our slogan say, as our campaign slogan says, when UNC wins, everybody wins. Long live the people! Long live the UNC!
Because what don't
forward
kill you
ever!
should make you stronger.
Forward ever! Backward never! Forward ever! Backward never!
I get my doses from all kinds of sources, and all of them still can't kill me now. You see,
UNC family, we have a massive crowd here of over 700 strong. Make some noise. And I encourage those who haven't registered as yet to please do so and register. This government isn't serious about anything. Let's take crime, for example. We are currently under a state of emergency, yet the murder rate stands 29 murders in 27 days. Instead of focusing on real solutions, the Prime Minister and his cabinet are more concerned about removing 3 ships from the coat of arms. If they had invested the same amount of energy and resources into deploying 3 ships to protect our porous borders, our country would have been safer today. There would be no need for a state of emergency in the first place. It is time to prioritize action over symbolism and put the safety of our citizens first. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a man who is committed to putting people first, who is vocal in defending the rights of our citizens, demanding more for their safety, and exposing the government's mismanagement and misinformation. Let's roar for the lion, the MP for Oropuch East, Dr. Roodal Moonilal.
Thank you. Thank you. At some time I have to start. Thank you very much, His Worship the Mayor of Chaguanas, parliamentary colleagues, fellow speakers this afternoon, evening, candidates assembled here, and those of you assembled here in what appears to be over 1,000 persons at this hall and hundreds outside as far as my eye can see. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Monday Cottage meeting. The Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, listening to our program now, of course. I want to welcome those folks, supporters, tuning in from all over the world on various social media platforms. Friends in Canada, New York, Caribbean, and Europe. Our great friend Norbert in Canada, Ricardo in New York, and others who are tuning now to our program. Brothers and sisters, we are about serious business tonight. We are about very, very serious business of rebuilding our country, of rescuing our country, of saving our nation and our children. Tonight, the UNC takes to the street to speak to the current issues affecting us as a nation, issues that if we do not respond to, threaten to destroy this country irreversibly. Look where we have reached, brothers and sisters, that today we are under a state of emergency. And in the month of January, today is the 27th, we have had 27 murders. In a state of emergency. We have the data from the police as well. In my hand we have it. For January, only until the 23rd of January, brothers and sisters, we have had, in terms of wounding and shooting, 42. In a state of emergency. We have had a progression of murders. We have a weekly analysis that speaks volumes to the increase in criminal activity. While this is happening, the government has abdicated. Rowley, Young, Hines, and others throw their hands in the air. They have given up. They had to give up. Brothers and sisters, they are playing games with your lives and the lives of your family. They have destroyed every institution. All. They have destroyed. I see a few days ago, Rowley at a function in Port of Spain, talking, beating his chest. You know what is instructive apart from the rubbish he's speaking? Forget that for now. They just tell everybody they built a new headquarters in Port of Spain, state-of-the-art, Balize house and so on. And we will check on that house eventually. Because every house they build, like Terrestrial, will fall down.
So they boasting about the headquarters. Why you didn't use the headquarters to hold your meeting? You went to Napa, which is a state facility, and they pay no rent. They don't pay for services. They pay for nothing. A few years ago, 2023, in the parliament, what is called a Standing Finance Committee, we inquired only for 1 year. The PNM was owing TTT $600,000 only in 1 year for carrying their broadcast live. And they did not pay. So they are using TTT for their broadcasts without paying. They are using Napa for their meeting without paying. While they have Balize House, while you have social media, you can procure those platforms and so on. This is how they abuse the authority. This is how they abuse the authority. And while that is happening, Fitzgerald Hines and Stuart Young, who is a former Minister of National Security, have been an unmitigated failure. Brothers and sisters, let me come to the point one time, you know. There's a famous saying we have, when you come to shoot, you shoot. You don't waste time. Headline here, mystery boat sinks. I say Express. Guardian, in my hand. Mystery boat disappears. And Newsday, Coast Guard loses mystery boat. Now, this would have been funny had it not been tragic. Only in Trinidad under Young and Hines, the Coast Guard could tie a boat and then lose it. If you read the story, brothers and sisters, a small, what appears to be a small fishing vessel may have survived crossing the Atlantic Ocean. The Kalapani, it survived like the Fatal Razak and come here. You know the Coast Guard find it because somebody tell them it was there. They hook it up with a tow line and then lost it. The Coast Guard vessel had 16 men on board. So what is 16 of them going to do? To play all fours downstairs? And forget, and then somebody come upstairs and say, hey, where the boat gone? Where the boat gone? That is the Coast Guard under Hines and Stuart Young. Brothers and sisters, they are ill-equipped, without resources. And today, this matter speaks to international criminal activity. The Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, Interpol, the FBI would have an interest in human remains on a vessel off the coast of Trinidad and Tobago, and they lost it. They lost it. That is Trinidad and Tobago under Hines. And even under Hines and Young, they have no equipment. All the boat park up down Stobles Bay, down there, Chaguanas. They don't have crew, they don't have fuel. And now the Coast Guard put out one of the most disgusting, I can't describe, but they put out a press release on the weekend. They say thank you to the person and the people who give them the information on the boat. But if all you see it again, call them. This is the press release. They say if all you see it again, call us. This is the only country that the Coast Guard will lose a boat with dead people. You could imagine if it was living people. And those, that speaks, as I said before, international criminal activity. We call now for a full independent investigation into the disappearance of that vessel by the police and international agencies. The men or women on that boat who, wherever they are, they came from somewhere. They may or may not have been involved in illegal activities. Brothers and sisters, this is the legacy of Stuart Young. This Coast Guard is the legacy of Stuart Young, brothers and sisters. And you must never forget that. Never forget. Brothers and sisters, a few days ago, maybe a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago when I spoke to you last, I raised the matter of Stuart Young trips to Venezuela. Tonight I will just raise one issue related. He took forever to give an answer. You know, when he gave the answer, what he revealed, Stuart Young was in Venezuela for a trip mere weeks before the Venezuelan national elections. He went with an interpreter, alone.
What was Stuart Young doing mere weeks before the elections that is highly contentious in Venezuela? Tonight we ask Stuart Young to tell us, is it true that the government of Trinidad and Tobago has signed a non-disclosure agreement with the government of Venezuela, wherein if they meet any official from Venezuela, you cannot reveal the identity of government officials of Venezuela? Because half of them wanted in the United States and the next half under arrest. So you cannot disclose their names. This is why Stuart Young cannot tell you who he met with in Venezuela. And they're playing bad. They're playing bad in Parliament. I think it was Camille Robinson Regis, if I'm not wrong. He said, what Trump could do we? Well, I want to tell you all something today. It start. This morning, Caribbean Airlines code BW482 departed Trinidad at 8 a.m. and arrived in Orlando International Airport at more or less 12 noon. That flight originating from Trinidad and Tobago, the flight didn't dock in somewhere and go, it originated from Trinidad, Piaco. 80% of the passengers were subjected to secondary security screening selection. 80%. What that means, I will tell you what that means because I too had to learn that. It means that 80% of those passengers, 8 out of 10, were placed in special jackets they had to put on. They were ushered, carted away to a security room where they were subjected to a much more aggressive pat-down. Their luggage was searched again, and some also had to undertake what is called swabbing of electronic devices for explosive residue. That is where we have reached under Young, Hines, and Rowley, that today in America, when you travel, you are subjected to secondary screening in the United States. Trinidad and Tobago, this paradise, that is where we reach. It is only a matter of time before that government decide that those PNM officials and their family will have their visa revoked. I don't mind that, that's the PNM and the family, but it will also involve ordinary innocent citizens of this country. Because of Young, Hines, and Rowley, you will be subjected to all type of treatment that you were not before, given this government playing hanky-panky. They're playing hanky-panky and footsie with Maduro. That is what will happen in American airports in the coming days. And Stuart Young led us there. Rowley led us there. You all, I want to remind you as well. Did you remember what is called the Vincent Nelson debacle? They tried to get a fella named Vincent Nelson, I think that's his name, to fabricate stories and write all kind of statements and so on to get money to sink Anand Ramlogan and Gerard Ramdeen, I believe, to make statements against them for criminal prosecution in the first instance. Then we discovered that they promised Nelson money so that he can fabricate allegations against Ramlogan and Ramdeen. Do you know Vincent Nelson has stated on an affidavit, he has stated in writing in what is now a public document, that on a flight, a British Airways flight in March 2020, he had a discussion with Stuart Young on a flight. And this man is a major star witness for the government in a criminal matter involving a former attorney general and political opponent. And Stuart Young is having discussions on a plane. What you all were discussing? The menu? The beverage choice? What you discussing with a witness? And Nelson goes on to say that Young tell him, it's not me leak the information to the British, it's not me. You think I'm stupid? Well, we think he's stupid, but he's telling Nelson, and Nelson puts it in writing, that is the man who wants to be Prime Minister of this country. Young also recruited a prosecution agency, a private prosecution service in England, the famous WPC Kate. They spent $45 million to hound down officials of the partnership administration. You know when they stop investigating? When they run out of money. To this day, they are owing the people in England some money for that, and they cannot pay. And I want to tell the people in England, as soon as the UNC return there, you will be returning that money to Trinidad and Tobago. You will be returning that money. And Rowley come now selling Stuart Young. He from Lal Bihari Trace. I want to tell you something. If you get Rowley a map of Trinidad, he can't find Lal Bihari Trace. And it's a branch 1, branch 2, branch 3. He can't find it. But Stuart Young suddenly, and he said Lal Bihari Trace, Debe. Penal, sorry, he said Lal Bihari Trace, Penal. Lal Bihari Trace is in Debe. But I'm not surprised, you know, years ago, Rowley as housing minister came to Debe to open a little housing settlement there. It mash up, of course, when he built it. And he come with a jeep load of police. I saw them by a junction. They get lost. And we had to give them directions how to find Wellington Road, which is nearby. So brothers and sisters, don't be fooled by all that stupidness, Lal Bihari Trace. In all these years, Stuart Young in executive office, he never sent one hamper, one toy, fixed one road in Lal Bihari Trace. The only route set on Lal Bihari Trace is in the road now where grass growing. That's the only route he have there, nothing else. So don't get chained up with that kind of stupidness. Brothers and sisters, I only have a couple of minutes again, but to tell you another critical issue facing us, of course, is the level of the infrastructure collapse in Trinidad and Tobago. You will recall that on the highway right here, they're building an extension. You all know that. All of you, it creates havoc for you, correct? I have a feeling, you know who designed that? A fella named Fred Flintstone from the Flintstones. Because that is a quarter-mile road where you have to decelerate to get on, then accelerate to go, and then decelerate to come back. How you doing that? Because if you continue, you will fall off the highway downstairs by the flyover. They cannot finish that. They were supposed to finish in November, then December. This is January, and now they are saying it's 70% complete. When will it ever be completed? And I put it to you, it will never be completed. That has been plagued by design problems, by the quality of materials they have used as well. Inferior quality. They had to dig up the road when they pave it. That is what we face with this government. Millions of dollars lost. So when that fellow who running around here and want to be candidate and want to be MP and thing, you must ask him, what about that road? You couldn't make half a quarter mile of road. You want to come minister and MP? In this constituency, we stand strong in support of our warrior sister, hard-working sister, dynamic leader, the Honorable Vandana Mohit. And we stand strong on all our candidates. For St. Joseph, the very distinguished attorney at law, Devish Maharaj, Dr. Chaitan Maharaj, Aruka Lopino, and of course the great doctor from San Fernando, Dr. Daulat, San Fernando West. That is the caliber of candidates we are giving in this election. And we will take our time. We will give you brilliant candidates. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar is leading a screening committee to select the best team to run the government. I want to put it to you as supporters of our party. You must be concerned with people who are team players. If you try to mash up when in opposition, you could trust people who backbiting and undermining when you're in opposition. You could put them in government. You could put them in government. When you go in government, you have to have a strong, disciplined team of brilliant men and women, not people you have to watch every minute behind your back to see which part of your back they put in a knife. That's not what you want. And we are building a team. We must be stable in government to develop this country. We cannot allow for a team that will be unstable, that will be in chaos and bacchanal like the PNM. We don't want that. We want a strong team, and we are building that team. So brothers and sisters, I want to leave you there. We have a powerful lineup of speakers this evening, and to tell you, stand strong with your political leader, with your party. Stand strong as we march forward to reclaiming the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Long live the United National Congress. Long live our struggle for unity, equality, and justice. God bless. Love you all.
And every crack I see, I just see through. And by the help of God, I just get through. I just won't stop. I feel like hope. Move any mountain.
look out. Look out, Poodle. Our home girl is here to stay. MP, you all stand and give our home girl a welcome. MP Vandana Mohit is a member of parliament for Chaguanas East and returning candidate for the 2025 general election. She was the former local government councillor for Kunapir and the youngest mayor in our nation history in the mayor of Chaguanas. She is the central coordinator on the national executive of the UNC and also the shadow minister of social development. In the House of Representatives, she holds a Master of Arts in Mass Communication, New Media, Conference, Democracy from the University of Lancaster. Let's give our home girl stand. Give our home girl Vandana Mohit.
Yeah. Never let your problems get you down. Stay focused and hold your ground. Because what don't kill you should make you stronger. So my problems is like
Thank you very much. Chaguanas East. I want them to hear you in Warrenville. I want them to hear you in Endeavour. I want them to hear you in Lunchpark. I want them to hear you in Enterprise. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. Honorable political leader, parliamentary colleagues, members of the local government fraternity, online viewers, my dear friends of Chaguanas East, others joining us from various parts of Trinidad and Tobago, religious leaders from Chaguanas East, community leaders from Chaguanas East, a pleasant good evening and thank you for being here. It is with humility, gratitude, and a steadfast commitment to the progress of our community, our constituency, that I stand before you today. As your member of parliament, I have had the privilege of walking this journey with you, sharing in your joys, sharing in your challenges and your aspirations. Today I offer myself once again to be your representative, to be your advocate, and to be your voice in Parliament. Over the past years, together we have demonstrated what true representation means. We have shown that representation is not about sitting in an office or making grand promises, but rolling up our sleeves and working tirelessly for the people. From Warrenville to Montrose, from Enterprise to Kunupia, we together have built a foundation of trust and mutual respect. And I am here tonight to say to you that our work is not yet over. I want to share with you that accomplishments do matter. Together we have achieved milestones that reflect our shared vision for a better Chaguanas East. Despite the challenges posed by an uncaring central government, posed by an uncaring PNM, we have been able to have improved infrastructure in Chaguanas East. We have advocated for social services, whether it be the most vulnerable, the elderly, single mothers, and those facing poverty. Nobody was left behind. We have advocated for education and youth empowerment. We have advocated and we have engaged in community involvement, community vigilance.
And most importantly, I have advocated for you in the House of Representatives. I have advocated on critical issues affecting your daily lives. My contributions to debate reflects nothing but your plight to me. Recently, speaking about advocacy, you would have seen the issue of the senior citizens pension. My friends, the UNC would have challenged the government's attempt to implement the miscellaneous provisions, Senior Citizens Pension, and Public Assistance Bill 2024. We would have challenged that, ensuring that our elderly and vulnerable retain access to critical benefits. This challenge was initiated through the astute political leader, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Our political leader caught the PNM with their pants down, exposing their true intent regarding pension benefits relative to the $25,000 saving clause. Remember that? We all know. And upon the exposure, the government hastily convened a media conference alleging that a public officer inserted the offending clause. How convenient. And you know what? They further promised to withdraw the bill. However, to date, the bill remains on the Parliament's order paper. So we ask tonight, what has become of that public officer? Why is the bill still on the Parliament's order paper? We ask tonight, what actions have been taken or directed against that public officer? My friends, their intention is to implement it as it is. Once they win, so remember to vote for the UNC. Because when UNC wins, everybody wins. The vulnerable wins, the senior citizens win, single mothers win, children win. My friends and my dear constituents, I have shared with you how we are advocating for you. These accomplishments, whether it be Chaguanas or UNC, are not just statistics. They are stories of lives touched and communities uplifted. They are proof that with dedication and genuine care, we all can make a difference. My friends, the choice is now before us. As we approach this critical election, we must confront a stark reality. I want you to look at my opponent. I don't want to spend much time on him because he's unimportant. But I want you to judge him by the Solomon Ho-Choi Highway Project. Dr. Moonilal, MP, just spoke on that. He told you in December, we are at the end of January. Judge my years of service and judge all of his blunders. And I say to you, vote Vandana Mohit for Chaguanas East. His track record will speak. My track record will speak. The UNC's track record will speak. I say to you, do not forget the neglect by this PNM when it comes to our constituency of Chaguanas East. Don't forget our numerous requests for the government's intervention, and they ignored us in Chaguanas East. Right now, they are spending lavishly in Postman Drive. Everywhere they can spend, they are using resources of the state to win your vote. I tell you, do not fall for that. My friends, you have to forgive me, I'm suffering a little bit here. This election is about defending our democracy. This election is about more than choosing a representative. It is about defending your country's democracy
I gave up my youth to fight for my country. Saddam gave up his youth to fight for his country. MP Barry gave up his youth to fight for his country. All of our MPs are there with us every day, fighting for country. I tell you, hold strength and have faith in us. I want to tell you that I have a vision for your future. When it comes to Chaguanas East, we will continue to ensure sustainable development. We will continue to ensure that you, the people in Chaguanas East and Trinidad and Tobago, have full access to our social services sector. I want to remind the youth that we will ensure that you are taken care of. So when they come and play in Gen Z, we want you. Look at the UNC's policies, and you will see that we have a plan for the young people of Trinidad and Tobago. And do not waste your vote behind the PNM. Give it to us, because when the UNC win, everybody wins. I have a plan for youth and education. You would have seen it, homework centers in Chaguanas East, working with the schools. I have a plan for community safety. So I want to remind you that your Chaguanas East will see continuous representation. At a national level, the UNC is committed to a comprehensive social sector plan that prioritizes poverty reduction, affordable housing, universal access to quality health care, and enhanced benefits for our senior citizens. We will build on our successes of our 2010 to 2015 term, ensuring that no citizen is left behind. My commitment to you, the people, Chaguanas East, you are my family. Your dreams, your struggles, and your triumphs are what drive me. I am here because of you, and I remain accountable to the honorable political leader and you, the people of Chaguanas East. This election is our opportunity to reaffirm the power of the people over the politics of privilege. Let us reject the politics of division and destruction. Let us stand united for a brighter future. Let us show my primary opponent and his handlers that Chaguanas East cannot be bought. They tried it in 2020 and they are trying it again. I remind you, show them that Chaguanas East cannot be bought, because our hearts and our votes belong to those who truly care for us. I ask you for your support, your trust, and your vote. I ask you to support all of my colleagues. Together we can continue to build a Chaguanas East and a Trinidad and Tobago that we are all proud to call home. A constituency and a country that thrives on service, integrity, and hope. I say to you as I leave, join me as we continue to empower lives and strengthen communities. To win, we must vote. And I say to you, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Long live our great party, long live our political leader, and long live my constituents of Chaguanas East. I thank you.
Na 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 no. Alright then, Father got you among my friends, please. Because we don't know how the enemies. I the one them will stand right beside you, and one soak you like them a lead. So me ask God to protect me head in the streets at night. And all of me enemies, yes Father God, please shine them a light. Oh Father God, yeah. So guide me from the bad mind people, the ones them way I promise even.
Thank you very much.
You expected our honorable political leader, an Indian woman from Siparia. Instead, you get a black woman from Sharville. That is Stuart Lal Bihari UNC style. Vandana, this is people. This election ain't called yet, and we have thousands of people here. On Saturday, the PNM had something they call our 69th anniversary, and people say PNM dead. Their spirit leave their body, they're traveling. The honorable political leader asked that I convey her apologies. She had to attend a very, very urgent and important meeting, business meeting, just prior to her leaving the house to come to this function. She's looking on television, and she has said she's very pleased with all of the speakers. So good night to our UNC rank and file members and supporters. This is her speech, by the way, right? She sent me her remarks and asked me not to deviate. But you might hear a little jill, you know, you're going to know when you hear the jill, okay? But this is the speech of the honorable political leader. So UNC, let the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar hear you greeting her all the way from Chaguanas. Thank you. Tonight we say when the UNC wins, everybody wins. A vote for any other political party keeps the PNM in power and gives you nothing, nada, jills, zero. A vote for any other party is a vote for the PNM. A vote for any other party is a vote to lose your pensions. Remember, the government has not withdrawn that pension bill from the parliament. It is still very much alive. A vote for any other party is a vote for record murders, high food prices, high taxes, fees, utility bills, and low wages. A vote for any other party is a vote to put your family's future in danger. A vote for any other party is to vote for many more sleepless nights. Every noise you hear at night, you're jumpy, you're afraid. Before this government of Keith Christopher Rowley and Stuart Young, the last thing you said at night to your family before going to sleep was good night. Say your prayers, sleep well. Now you say you lock the burglar-proof gate. You let go the dogs. You check the camera system. Go double check that the gate lock. All hour of the night, you're watching the camera. Monitor every time you hear a noise or a car pass in the road. You're just jumping. While Stuart Young, Rowley, and the government MPs and their families have taxpayer-funded, heavily armed police security 24/7, you have no protection against violent criminals. Instead of hugging up your husband or your wife at night, you're hugging up cutlass, you're hugging up knife, you're hugging up baton, you're hugging up bullhorn, let them sleeping with you in your bed. In the case criminals run into your homes in the night. But these criminals are invading your homes with firearms, and this government refuses to give law-abiding citizens legal firearms to defend your families. A vote for the UNC is a vote to return the community comfort patrols to your area. A vote for the UNC is a vote to obtain legal firearms so you can empty the clip on rapists and bandits invading your home. If you vote for another party and criminals invade your home, beating up your son, beating up your husband, raping your wife, your daughter, and you have no legal firearm to fight them off, just remember that you had a chance to vote for this in election of 2025. You had a chance to vote for the UNC to get a legal firearm to protect them, but you did not. A vote for any other party is a vote to condemn your family to terror. And if you are against legal firearms for citizens, the simple answer is don't apply for one. A legal firearm is a tool to defend your family. It is a first line of defense to deter an attack or to hold off the criminals until the police can arise. It gives you a fighting chance. A vote for the UNC is a vote to give your family a fighting chance. When the UNC wins, your family wins. The UNC will protect your children. The PNM has been supporting Biden's woke extreme left insanity agenda for the last 4 years. This insane woke agenda diminishes appearance or authority over decisions regarding their children's life and upbringing. What consenting adult do in their private life is their business. That is not the state business or my business. Mine being Kamla Persad-Bissessar, please. However, all the children of this country are my business. We like Rowley and Stuart tonight. All right, you know, Stuart, Rowley, Stuart, ventriloquist, or vice versa. So I'm just the messenger. The UNC have always been the party and government who put promises into policy and policy into practice with our nation's children. The UNC has put into law groundbreaking legislation with regard to children. No other government has given the rights of children and the protection of children the priority that the UNC has delivered. It is only the UNC who will allow your children to be safe and protected again. The UNC government is the author and champion of the Children's Life Fund, the Children's Authority, the Children's Act, the Baby Grant for Single Mothers, the Children's Hospital, laptops, free textbook, dollar for dollar, preschool education. We reformed the education system to make sure every child got a secondary school education. And we will put police officers and doctors in our schools to assist teachers. The UNC looks after children and young people. Alternatively, the PNM gave your children legalized ganja to smoke. That is what the PNM did for young people. While the UNC promotes education and opportunity, the PNM promotes ganja. Do your own research and you will see PNM policies have failed our children of this country, failed the young people of this country. The worst quality of life for children and young people is in PNM-controlled constituency. The worst performing schools. Only last weekend I was told of a school in a particular area, I wouldn't call this school. They said any child getting into that school would have gotten between 30% and 10% in the SEA. They said of the 125 children who passed for that school, 95 arrives on the morning the school starts. It means 30 of those children never turn up. And that is the pipeline to the gangs. Who looks out for them? These children need a different kind of care. And only the UNC will bring that care. Only the UNC will bring that attention. Because when the UNC wins, those children will also win. The schools with the highest gang violence and highest murders of young people are in the PNM control areas. Young black men from PNM constituencies make up the majority of murder victims in this country. So what are you voting for the PNM for? When you're dead, you're done. You tell me, what is in it? What is this sweet thing that people still running after the PNM? Do you believe the PNM will win the next election? Who will win the next election? Very well. While under the UNC, thousands of new businesses were registered and started by young adults. You know what young Rowley and Imbe did? PNM took 60,373 businesses off the company's registry. They were micro, small, and medium businesses, which they got rid of. They no longer exist. They closed them, shut them down, struck them off the company's registers. Yes, that's what they did to over 60,000 businesses, the most vicious attack on entrepreneurs and small businesses in our history, many of which were registered by young adults. In 1962, Trinidad and Tobago had the higher GDP per capita from Japan, Chile, Greece, and Spain, Hong Kong, Singapore, Portugal, Mexico, Turkey, Iraq, Brazil, Malaysia, Iran, Morocco, Taiwan, China, and so many others. Sadly, since then, after 69 years of the PNM, these countries have now leapt far ahead of us. This country has become ungovernable under the PNM with extreme wealth inequality, an economy which has collapsed by 20% since they came into office, from a GDP of $187 billion in 2015 to $154 billion presently. They have spent over $500 billion since 2015, more than any other government in our history, and there is nothing to show for it. Where are the Sandals, the Labre Dry Dock, the plywood factory, the Toko port, the highway to Toko? Where is Nikon? Where are the jobs for our young people? After all of that expenditure, there has been no growth. The economy has contracted by about $30 billion, and they have imposed hardships on the people like no other government before. No other government has spent more and done less than this administration. In the meantime, they have given themselves salary increases as high as 47%, with $1 million back pay, while telling workers they cannot pay more than 4% because the country has no money. The PNM has raided our foreign reserves and emptied it back down to 2007 levels. And they are on a path to take it down to zero since they have killed our major foreign exchange earners of Petrotrin and Caroni. Drawn down on the Heritage and Stabilization Fund on 10 different occasions and put the country into more debt than all other governments combined. Our debt under the PNM is over $141 billion. On the other hand, the UNC built over 100 schools, highways, bridges, hospitals, invested in education and skills training, created over 55,000 new jobs, brought down crime to its lowest level in 30 years, provided support to single mothers, kept the cost of living low, gave wage increases to all, delivered a 24/7 water supply to 69% of Trinidad and 70% of Tobago. And by 2014, grew the economy to the highest it has ever been in history. And this was all done without imposing one single tax. We had the highest foreign direct investment in history and left over $13 billion US in our reserve. The UNC left the Treasury with the largest amount of foreign reserve in our history. Stuart Young destroyed the energy sector, taking gas productions down to 2007 levels. Oil production has declined to the lowest since 1939. Ammonia and LNG production has collapsed. Drilling activity has gone down over 56%. The refinery and steel production was shut down to zero, and its jobs in the energy sector were cut by 49%. From highly skilled and highly paid jobs to general employment, putting thousands of persons on the breadline. Point leases has been decimated. Oil and gas service companies are relocated to Guyana. Financial services organizations are leaving to go to Barbados and Jamaica, and tourism is almost dead. Over 100,000 jobs have been lost in the last 10 years under this government. In 2013, the UNC awarded to BHP, now Woodside, and BP a deepwater oil and gas acreage located to the northeast of Tobago. It is called the Calypso Deepwater Project. The Calypso project contains about 3.5 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, which is very significant. Why hasn't the incompetent government settled negotiations with BP and Woodside to get this project commercially approved after 12 years? Instead, this government has formed a dangerous alliance with the drug trafficking regime in Venezuela. Excuse me. Even as Venezuela threatens our CARICOM partner, Guyana, Dragon Gas was never alive. You can't kill what's already dead. I'm calling on Young and Rowley. The UNC awarded the Calypso Deepwater Block since 2013. 12 years has passed. Why hasn't this been commercially approved? The government must get this Calypso Deepwater project commercially approved. Stuart Young has been outsmarted at every turn by the multinationals. He was outsmarted in Houston when he and Rowley were tied up like two Tobago blue crab and sent back to Trinidad because of their failed negotiations. We now have to pay more for natural gas for electricity generation. Stuart Young's stupidity is the main reason your electricity bill are going to increase. And make no mistake, they are going to raise your electricity and water rates after the election, if God forbid they steal it. Young was outsmarted by the multinational to spend $400 million to upgrade Atlantic LNG Train 1, which is now mothballed, turning to scrap iron. Despite serving as a minister for almost 10 years, it is telling that Stuart Young has only now decided to reveal his ancestral East Indian roots in South Trinidad, now that he has been anointed as a prime ministerial candidate in the upcoming general election. Next week, you might hear that Stuart Young disclosed that his middle name is Rajesh. I feel that coming. But listen, UNC, do not study Rowley with his baseless nonsense about Stuart Young's race. This is Trinidad and Tobago. Nobody cares about your race. In the UNC, we have the original Douglas. Nobody in this country cares, or in the UNC cares, is Stuart Young brown, green, red, or blue. People care that Stuart Young is mean-spirited. People care that he's vulgar, crass, and vicious. People care that Stuart Young has proven himself to be useless. People care that he has no achievements, even after getting every opportunity for 10 years sitting at Rowley's feet. People care that Young cannot face his own PNM people and compete with their own system of one man, one vote. He and Rowley subscribing to him and Rowley is now subscribing to young man, no vote. Young and Rowley choose instead to limbo below the white line in the road to make Stuart Young path to the Whitehall smooth, no competitors. And now he wants to tell us to mind our business. People care that it was Young and Rowley that wrecked the economy, and their policies have us in this crime-infested country. So when Young told us that he was going, when Rowley told us he was going, everybody was relieved, only then to be told he's anointing Young and leaving Young behind. That means Rowley are gone because, as you know, Young is Rowley with hair on his head. Trinidad and Tobago does not belong to Rowley. And if he's going, if Rowley is going, he needs to just go. And if you love Young so much, give Young your favorite pen. Give him your favorite tie. Give it your favorite dog named Bob. But take your greasy, rusty, crusty, dusty hand off Trinidad and Tobago. We'll have none of it. We'll have none of it. I'm going to tell Rowley, not because you can, mean that you should. So leave us alone. Go in peace. Take your back pay and just go. So it was only a few short years ago that Young's colleague on the government bench for his neighboring constituency of Port-au-Prince South butchered the enunciation of Penal and Debe in the House. And another colleague ridiculed flood victims of the area by saying they were living in lagoons. Yet there was not one word of admonition or correction to come from Stuart Rogers Young in defense of the PNM anointed lagoon dwellers of Penal and Debe, despite being his second childhood home, as he now describes it. Are we then to believe that he has a newfound level of pride for this region of the country? The larger issue that arises, however, now is that Stuart Young is open to accepting this part of his history and kingship, is the utter and deep-seated contempt with which he and his government has treated Penal Debe and its residents over the past decade that he has spent on the government bench. Many residents who live in close proximity to Stuart Young's blood relatives have been starved of resources and basic necessities that are readily available in the constituents or the constituencies of Port-au-Spain and St. Anne's. How does Stuart Young reconcile the fact now that he has openly and proudly announced his connection with Penal Debe, while his government has been failing to address the issues that his family and friends have been dealing with for 10 years? While he sits in government on the right hand of the king, doing absolutely nothing to assist them. Over the last 10 years, under Rogers and Rowley, the PNM government has ridiculed and disparaged the residents of Penal Debe and have allocated less than the bare minimum that is necessary for those communities in Penal and Debe for them to grow and thrive. The secondary and private primary schools that they have left unfinished in the region, and the refusal to fix drainage and road infrastructure. But probably the biggest insult now, learning of Stuart Young's newfound Indian roots in this area, is that of the entirety of the time that he sat in government, the PNM has refused to open the UE Debe campus, which was built by the UNC government, and which would have been a tremendous resource to the development of the region and the educational sector. Stuart Young should be ashamed to let the nation know that he has a personal connection to this region, knowing how much he has ignored this region while serving as a government minister. I want to tell Young to miss us with that pathetic, awkward, and comical public relations gimmickry. Because of the entire time he has served as a minister in the office of the Prime Minister, he had the ability to venture into any ministry and help Penal Debe, but not once did he ever do that to tend to their needs. And the residents of these areas will not forget that fact when they go to the polls later this year for the general election. So as Rowley prepares to run away from the mess he has created, we are forced to accept the failure that is Stuart Young as Prime Minister, a petulant, childish, immature person whose record is filtered with failure, recusal, conflict of interest, and a troubling legacy of secrecy and self-interest. From 9 September 2015 to 24 April 2023, Stuart Rogers Young recused himself a staggering 101 times. Think about that. 101 times this man had to remove himself because he or someone close to him stood to benefit from the decisions being made. And that is just up to April 2023. We have asked for further, more up-to-date information, and you can just imagine how high the number of recusal will be at this point in time. So UNC, we have rebuilt our party. We have transformed it into a modern, inclusive party built on rewarding merit. They cannot take that away from you. And if you're from Charlottesville, you could come here proudly and say you're from Charlottesville. If you're from Barataria, you could say you're from Barataria in the UNC. If you're from Kuchawan Trace, Dr. Moonilal, you could say proudly that you're from Kuchawan Trace. And you don't use where you're from for expediency. We think that is the biggest of insult, the cruelest cut. So our party is out every single day in the trenches, fighting this wicked, greedy government and defending our nation. I am proud of my UNC family, and I will never shy away from defending them. I love, now this is KPB, this might not really be me here, right? I just want to tell you. All right, so plausible deniability. I love every one of our members who have stood by us throughout it all. You have had leaders before me. You will have leaders after me. But you will never have a leader who loves you more than I do. From the great Kamla Persad-Bissessar, our honorable political leader and soon to be Prime Minister of this great nation, Trinidad and Tobago. I love you. I thank you very much. UNC. Thank you.
Yeah. Never let your problems get you down. Stay focused and hold your ground. Because what will kill you should make you stronger. So my problems is like steroids, boy. I get my doses from all kinds of sources.
Do you know that in 2016, 66 liters of diesel cost $100? Today, under the PNM, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100. The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the PNM, which directly affects the cost of food, transport, and services. Guess who I'm voting for next time?